Hey everyone, me Kevin here. In this video, I want to break down this interview with Eric Trump, and I have to say, it was really disappointing, and I wouldn't expect this of Eric Trump. So I'm disappointed in him, but I want to go through it because I think it's important for us to see where there are major misconceptions and what's going on. And I have a feeling I know what's driving this, a spoiler alert. That has a lot to do with some insider front running on crypto. In fact, it's almost on a daily basis we see these disclosures that senators are, buying crypto ahead of cryptocurrency legislation and stablecoin legislation. Mind you, I think tokenization and stablecoins are a really good way to conduct banking. Like, blockchain is way faster. It is the future of banking. Does that necessarily mean cryptocurrencies are going to rise in price? Not necessarily. But those built-in factors are coming, and they're going to be faster and better than the systems we have today. But this interview right here, I'm a little disappointed by it. Let's go through some of it. Well, let's actually make it so you can hear it, though. How about that?
The two, and the willingness to again say yes. Back to the first part of our interview, the willingness to actually look forward and realize that the modern financial system is broken, it's slow, it's expensive, and there's nothing that can be done on blockchain that can't.
This, first of all, I agree. We can be faster on blockchain. Totally agree so far.
Can't be done better than the way that the current financial institutions are working. SWIFT is an absolute disaster. There's not a week that goes by that I'm either trying to send out a wire on a Friday afternoon or trying to receive a wire on a Friday afternoon. You're worried if you're going to hit that 4 o'clock cutoff time, where you might not see your, whatever funds you're supposed to be receiving in the ordinary course of business. For another 72 hours or whatever it might be. It's insane.
I mean, it's not really that insane. This I think is just sort of an exaggeration because you're using a Friday example. And why are you sending or trying to receive your wires right before the cutoff? A little bit of pre-planning could avoid this sort of problem. Because again, if you send wires on any day before 4 p.m. Eastern, they're almost instantaneous. I'd say they show up within 30 minutes. We do this all of the time with house hack and a real estate business. Not a big deal. Yeah, okay, wires don't process on the weekend. So if you miss the Friday cutoff, it's kind of on you. So I think this one's a little bit of an exaggeration.
Why do banks work 9 to 5, with a long lunch break, Monday through Friday?
Okay, wires don't stop because of a lunch break.
It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It's, you could go try and get a mortgage in the United States or really anywhere else around the world. But, you and, whoever your spouse is, you could sit there for 90 days, 120 days going through and know your customer with a bank that's literally been your banker for the last 25 years.
Okay, this is where I start losing it a little bit. Not only have I been a mortgage loan originator, but I'm still a real estate broker and I've done a lot of loan transactions. KYC takes like 5 minutes, okay? You can literally scan your face and your ID on a phone these days, and KYC is automated and done in minutes. No, this is not a big deal at all. Running you through ORFAC takes 30 seconds. It's not that big of a deal. This is totally normal. But then this idea that it takes 90 to 120 days to get a mortgage? Who's your mortgage lender? What are you smoking? I'm seeing loans get done in 21 to 30 days on a consistent basis. Yes, sometimes someone self-employed, more complex filing might take closer to 45 days. But that also assumes that they haven't been pre-underwritten or even in some cases just a pre-approval will get you cleaned up a lot and keep you within 30 days. But some buyers in real estate are, and this is a good strategy if you ever want to buy a property, is you get your pre-approval letter and then you ask your lender, hey, do you think in this more competitive environment, some markets are more competitive right now, it might make sense getting pre-underwritten. And they actually send your file up all the way through an underwriter, so you don't have to do it anymore when you're in escrow. You just send the property through. You're already approved, basically. And you could get loans done in less than 21 days. So, I personally don't like it when politicians exaggerate in a non-factual basis. This is just rhetoric and opinion, and it's disappointing coming from Eric Trump. I feel like you should be smarter than this.
And it takes you, 120 days to get a mortgage to buy a house? By the time you get the mortgage, the house that you want to buy is already gone and, your dream's already imploded.
But then again, you're using the wrong banker. You're not hooked up with the right agent. I don't know. You're doing something wrong.
This isn't modern finance. This isn't complex.
It's a lie. You're right. It's a lot.
Try and transfer money across the world. You want to go buy a watch. You want to go buy a car. You want to go, do whatever it is. The banks take half of that. You have currency conversion rate.
No bank takes half of your international wire. We pay international folks all the time. Banks are not taking half of the money. They do the currency conversion for you. Makes it easy. You're usually getting pretty dang close to spot anyway on the conversion. And I send international wires and they show up within 90 minutes often. In fact, I think the statistic right now is that 90% of cross-border payments made over SWIFT, which he's bagging on, it clear within an hour. Now, sometimes it takes a little longer, half a day to a day, depending on, what's going on with local banks. But yes, and don't get me wrong, blockchain is going to be way faster and we'll eventually get to a blockchain-based SWIFT. But I feel like exaggerating to get there isn't the way to go about it.
You have all sorts of things. You have to find a branch bank in a country with a banker you've never spoken to before. You don't even know if they're, a real-life banker or they're a fraudster.
Well, that's the point of the receiving entity. That's their job. It's not like you, Eric, you want to buy a watch from Switzerland because you don't know what to do with your money anymore. It's not like you need to contact that banker. The Swiss watchmaker tells you, this is my banker.
Whereas you can open up a DeFi app right now. You can open up, any cryptocurrency app and you can send money wallet to wallet instantaneously without...
This is true. Blockchain, fantastic. Big fan of this, and we're getting there.
The expense without the variability. Our banking system is broken. Our banking system is antiquated. Our banking system favors the ultra wealthy.
Probably.
And what actually got me into it is the fact that I realized our banking system, it was weaponized against the vast majority of people in our country. Either the people that don't have the zeros on their balance sheet.
I mean, in fairness, this is where we get probably a little bit more true. The banking system is a great tool for people who can get financing or businesses who can get financing. Everybody else kind of gets ripped off. Get ripped off on credit card fees and rates. Lending is generally unavailable for folks unless they have significant assets already. So I agree with Eric on this. I don't know when the last time was that Eric bought a house, but apparently it wasn't any time recently. So some of this is exaggeration, but I will say this is where I want to get bullish on blockchain tech. Right now, if you buy shares in the stock market, they take a day to settle. So it still takes a day where a broker-dealer might have to deal with fails to deliver, in other words, like the shares don't show up. They have to account for all of this nonsense back and forth. It increases the regulatory burden. It increases the costs of broker-dealers. If you can move broker-dealers in the stock market or banks to blockchain, all of that becomes instantaneous, way better. So big fan of blockchain. And I think we're going to see a lot of blockchain and real estate coming as well. It's something we're looking into with HouseHack as well, mostly because in the future we expect to be able to trade zero-fee real estate. And one of the tools that could actually enable that faster and cheaper is blockchain, not using cryptocurrencies, but using stable coins, right? So it's not like, making some kind of like meme coin or whatever, but using blockchain technology for settlement and custody or dividends. That's going to be a big deal in the future. So I'd definitely say he's right that there is a transformative effect possible, but the way he's trying to get there is kind of full of lies, or just mistruths, I guess we could call it. But I will agree, there's going to be some excitement around what we could do with blockchain in the future. We're excited at HouseHack.
Or people who might have worn that red hat that said "Make America Great Again," and it forced me into the crypto world. And I'm telling you, if the banks don't watch what's coming, they're going to be extinct in 10 years.
Yeah. So you're still going to have custody banks, right? So even if you're full crypto, somebody's still, people don't want to custody everything themselves. You can, but there's just a greater risk of potentially you losing your wallet or whatever, right? So people still, especially elderly folks, they still want a banker. People still want somebody taking that risk and ensuring that risk. And so I think more FDIC protections will come for stablecoin wallets. So in the future, banking will probably evolve to where you could actually bank your stable coins with your bank and they're responsible for protecting it. So if they lose it, you're insured by a government-backed entity. That's really where you get blockchain that takes off, right? That's really, you know, where you don't have to so much worry about, like, you could go to Anchorage Digital today, wallet provider, you know, custody provider. Hey, what kind of insurance do you have? It's kind of hard to get a straight answer out of it. And it's hard to know how resilient is that insurance policy actually going to be. Whereas when you have too big to fail banks, you can actually insure and have faith that, you know, JPOW is going to come bail out your stablecoin wallet should there be some issues in the financial system in the future. So as a result, I don't think banks will go extinct, but I do think they will adopt blockchain technology, and I'm excited about the possibilities for that. But again, I think Eric Trump may have some bias with their exposure to World Liberty Financial. You know, the Trump family just took control of about, 70% of World Liberty Financial, which is really their token, that their meme token that they created, that so far doesn't really have any utility. Supposedly, they profited somewhere around $500 million from it. And it's nice to argue that, you know, their token somehow benefits from stablecoin regulation, which I think is the implication. That's why he got all in on crypto. But I think when we separate what blockchain can do, we can be really optimistic about blockchain, but not necessarily be optimistic on, you know, like a Trump token or some kind of rug pull. Anyway, thanks so much for watching this video. Hopefully this was insightful. My opinion on why I'm disappointed in what Eric Trump is saying, but also why I'm actually pretty bullish on blockchain. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Goodbye and good luck.
Why not advertise these things that you told us here? I feel like nobody else knows about this.
We'll try a little advertising and see how it goes.
Congratulations, man. You have done so much. People love you. People look up to you.
Kevin Paffrath there, financial analyst and YouTuber. Meet Kevin. Always great to get your take.